Second in points, 3 wins. 3 wins here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You clinched a spot in the chase. Talk a little bit about coming to Atlanta this weekend.
Yeah, well, you know, last week things went really well for the Lowe's team. Starting as far back as we did, we were really concerned about getting track position, and being able to maintain it. We assumed that we'd have to take some risks to get it, but at the end, we just really kind of drove our way up through there. It wasn't all that easy to pass, and had to create some opportunities to pass, and got that done, and had a great finish. So, very pleased to have clinched. It takes a lot of pressure off of this weekend, and especially next weekend. But there's bonus points out there. I still regret not getting the bonus points at Michigan and Pocono. But there's still two races left, and hopefully we can get some more bonus points before we roll into the chase.
All right, we'll go ahead and kick off with questions. We'll go ahead to Ed.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Jimmie, a couple of parts, but mainly here you come into the chase, well set, as always. You look at a guy like Kyle Busch, who's one of the few drivers mentioned in the same breath with you as far as when it gets to, when you talk about pure raw talent. Do you ever wonder what it's like to be struggling to make a chase, and do you ever sympathize or empathize with those who are good drivers and have had decent performance, but just are having a rough, agonizing do you sympathize with Kyle Busch at all, is the main thing?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm aware of, especially my teammates that are in that position. And there was one year Jeff did make the chase, and other years I've had teammates miss it. In one respect, I do sympathize for Kyle not being in the chase, or at this point not being in the chase. And then in another light, he's such a threat that in some ways it's a dodged bullet if he doesn't make it for the guys that are in. He's such a talent and a great race team. And I say that as a compliment to him. But I do. I sympathize, and I know that I'm not immune to it either. And, we've been very fortunate with this race team to have success and consistent success. But I wake up every day with the fear of when we start the year, I wake up every year fearing that I might not make the chase. And fortunately that hasn't happened, but I use it as motivation. Our team pays close attention to it, and there are no givens in pro sports, especially in ours.
Does that extend also doubly so for Carl Edwards, not only struggling to make a chase, but he's come up short on 2 championships? Do you have a whole different kind of sympathy for that kind of situation that Carl's had?
I do. Last year being removed from the championship battle, it was easier for me to be sympathetic. The year I had the fortune of beating Carl, I was so occupied with my own stuff that it didn't necessarily cross my mind. But you look at how talented Carl is and how strong he is and how close he's been, especially last year being tied into points. It was going to be a bummer for whoever lost last year. Both guys put up such a great battle, and Carl handled it about as good, if not better, than anyone ever could in those circumstances. So I do, and again, if you're in this sport long enough, you're going to have the good and the bad. So I do pay attention to tough times guys go through, because I know it hadn't been easy for me in the early part of my career. These last 10 years have been pretty magical, but I know at some point that stuff all goes away, and I'll be faced with a lot of these same things myself.
And real quick, are you guys satisfied that the valve spring problems that haunted you a couple of weeks ago on a big track, are you guys satisfied that's cured?
We feel really good about things. We're the testing that's taken place since then has uncovered a lot of little, not a lot, it's uncovered a certain issue that we feel like we've rectified. We won't feel 100% about it until we get some top speed tracks like Atlanta, although there is a lot of fall off here, where to simulate what happened at Michigan, it's such a rare animal there, and your minimum RPM is so high at that track with the repave that it'll take a while before we have total confidence, but we feel like we understand what happened, and we've made some great changes to rectify that.
All right, we're going to go to Melinda, and then Wolfgang, and then Tom Jensen, and then Brian. Go ahead.
Melinda Adams, ESPN. Mr. Hendrick said that he wanted, everyone in y'all's organization to be in the chase this year. We've got 2, Kasey kind of right there, but we'll have to wait and see it. What lengths are y'all willing to go to as an organization to get Jeff Gordon and Kasey Kahne into the chase?
Just doing everything we can to be great teammates, share all the information we can, give each other a little extra room on the track to avoid a mistake. But the way our teams are set up, there's not much more that we can do, especially at Hendrick Motorsports. We share and share and share. It's all there for everybody to look at and use, and all of the drivers are very available for one another to help. So, if I could order up some good luck for either one of them, I would, but I don't know how you really do that. But both teams and drivers are plenty capable of winning this weekend and next weekend and really locking themselves in.
All right, go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Johnson, the sport was basically thrust into mainstream consciousness because of a fight in 1979 between, Cale and Donnie. And that the fans' love of seeing you guys have that raw emotion hasn't waned. It's still as high as it's ever been. Why do you think that when you guys show that raw emotion, it resonates so much with the fan base?
I don't know how to exactly describe it, but the first thing that comes to mind is, it's actually not a question, but why does everybody like reality TV? It's kind of in that same vein of people like to watch train wrecks, people like to watch controversy, whatever that is. We're all intrigued and love to be a voyeur and check it out. Most of us certainly dislike being in that situation when it happens, but it sure is entertaining to watch.
All right, go ahead, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang Monser from Germany, Rennsport Press Agency. Jimmie, you said you share information with your teammates, but in reality, is it possible, or is the driving style too different that even when you share information, it's helpful for your other teammate drivers?
The styles between the drivers and even the crew chiefs are what separate, things within a team, and one key area why it is easy to share like we do. I know that Jeff Gordon won't like the setup of my race car. I know I won't like the setup of his. Junior and I are pretty close these days. So everybody has their own style, and what you do is you learn over the years how I can take a Jeff Gordon setup and adapt it to my car. Or even if I see Jeff running fast on the track, I know his driving style and I've studied it so much that I can adjust, or I try to adjust what I'm doing to drive it more like Jeff would. Or Kasey or Junior. So, and I even fall back on Kyle and what Kyle did when he was at Hendrick. The certain tracks when Kyle's fast, I remember from testing with him and working with him in the past that he drives a certain way, and I try to go that route. So, there's a lot left to each individual within a team situation where you do share so much, and that's where you have to spend your time during the week and think about how you can use different aspects of driving techniques and setups.
Okay, we'll go to Tom.
Thanks. Jimmie, Tom Jensen, Speed.com over here. 2 weeks away from the chase, size up the field for us, and who do you think you have to beat, and where do you think your team's at now?
Based on last year's chase, I have really not singled out anyone in the chase as a threat. I think everybody is a threat, and obviously I say that because Tony, being as frustrated as he was starting the chase, wins 5 and is a champion. So I think what happened last year just plays into the point that we all try to say week in and week out. You've got to take everyone serious, and that's really where I'm at right now. These next 2 weeks, I'm starting the process to put the blinders on and only worry about the 48, only worry about what we do. In the past, when I have done that and we've left the track satisfied with our performance, good things have happened. And that's the mindset and the road that I'm heading down right now.
All right, go ahead, Steve, and then to Nate.
Jimmie, Steve Post, Motor Racing Network. We use this phrase 3 bonus points, and you, Greg, and Dale, that's really what you're racing for here. And we've used it for the last year and a half. But with last year's championship battle and the way it ended, is 3 bonus points, are you more focused on it, or maybe realize how much value it was? Carl and Tony last year at this time would have loved to have 3 bonus points. Did last year's point battle just enhance what 3 bonus points means as you guys go into these races where that's all you're racing for?
Yeah, it really did. I think it's on the rare side to have that scenario develop. And clearly, we've never had a tie in the points before. So, but it brings that reality, front of the mind, and so yeah, it could be that. And I keep mentioning Pocono and Michigan for a reason, and there are some others that I think got away during the course of the year for myself. But man, you just don't want to give up bonus points, and Michigan, to give up bonus points to a fellow chaser was tough. At Pocono, to my teammate who were trying to get in the chase and all that kind of thing, it was an easier week to deal with Pocono than it was dealing with Michigan mentally. But points are points, and we need every one of them.
All right, and we'll end with Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Jimmie, when in an age of constantly incessant repaving of racetracks everywhere, when you come to this place and it hasn't been repaved for 15 years and you see the tar and you see a beat up track, how does that make you feel? Does it make this place stand out more, and does it maybe make you wish that it still had 2 races because it's so much more unique now, and I assume that you guys like it maybe a little bit better than the tracks that have been repaved?
Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed racing here. I was bummed when I heard that a date had left, but understand why and what was going on. But tracks with character fit our race cars so much better, as we all know. Myself, when I know I'm coming here and I know it's ahead, I just start telling myself, you're not going to be comfortable. Get ready for every lap. I mean, maybe your first lap on track or first lap on stickers, there's grip and you can drive the car. The rest of it is all about compromise and trying to manage the balance of the car and the tire life, and things are deteriorating rapidly. Every lap you make, the track gets more slick, your tires are going away, and the environment's changing. So I just have to remind myself that, and remember, kind of like the old Darlington phrase, where you race the track. You don't worry about other people around you, and get into that mindset, really.
All right. Thank you.